Welcome back. So, a couple days ago, we made our episode of the Buffalo Sabres and their 2021 review. We're going to kind of keep this Seattle Kraken expansion series parallel to that now, and we're going to talk about them. Who can the Kraken select from the Buffalo Sabres? There isn't a lot of options unless if they can work out contracts with the guys previously before. But first off, before we get into that, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, please go make sure to do that as we're trying to get to 900 subscribers by the start of the 2021-2022 NHL season. I would really appreciate it if you did go subscribe. If you're coming from TikTok or anywhere else, welcome. I appreciate it. And anyways, let's get into the video. So the exempt list for the Buffalo Sabres pretty much contains their entire future. Arttu Ruotsalainen, Brendan Biro, Jack Quinn, Dylan Cousins, Brett Murray, Dawson DiPietro, Linus Weisbach, Lucas Rausek, John Jason Peterka, Matthias Samuelsson, Jacob Bryson, Casey Fitzgerald, Oskari Laskinen, Lawrence Pulutz, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Yeah, pretty much their entire future. Ruotsalainen, he did pretty well this season as a rookie. Dylan Cousins, Linus Weisbach, Peterka, Fitzgerald, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who looked pretty good as a goaltender for the Sabres this season. So yeah, it's good that you have those guys exempt, but like in all honesty, it doesn't really matter in the end because you're not really gonna lose anyone, and no matter who Seattle claims from Buffalo, I don't really think Buffalo will complain. Like, let's say they pick Drake Caggiula, who, I mean, he is on an expiring contract. Maybe they pick Drake Caggiula and be like, oh no, you pick Caggiula. Yeah, unless if they work out contracts with these guys before, I just don't see how it will really affect Buffalo that much. But anyways, let's get into my personal protected list. So I'll go out here and be honest and say this list was relatively hard for me to put together. In all honesty, like, you don't even know if all these guys are going to be here when the expansion draft happens. Because look, the expansion draft is July 21st. It's July 9th at the time of recording this video. So these guys could be gone. These guys could be gone that I have protected by that time. So it really is confusing because Buffalo's kind of having a fire sale. But anyways, I went with the way of 7 forwards and 3 defensemen. I protected Jack Eichel, Jeff Skinner due to his no movement clause, Sam Reinhart, Victor Olofsson, Tage Thompson, Cody Eakin, and Casey Middlestat. I'll go through each one here. Eichel, obviously want to protect him. If he stays with the team after this season, don't be surprised. It really wouldn't surprise me if they just say, we're not trading Eichel, although they're probably going to. They're obviously going to protect him. They're not going to be like, oh, Seattle, take Eichel. No chance. Jeff Skinner, of course, has no movement clause, although they would probably leave him unprotected and he wouldn't go claimed anyways, so either way, it doesn't matter. Sam Reinhart, although he is an RFA and they could strike an offer sheet with him, they won't leave him unprotected, no way. Victor Olofsson, probably one of the best players for the Sabres right now, relatively. Tage Thompson, another solid player for the Sabres, although he wasn't really that good anyways. Cody Eakin, yeah, you can really say what you want about him. And then Casey Middlestat, I protected him because I think he had a big step up this season for a absolutely terrible Sabres team. I discussed this in the review. I said that they weren't. He was probably the best player on this team, besides Reinhart. I put him there as best player, in all honesty. For the blue line, I protected Colin Miller, Jake McCabe, and of course Rasmus Dahlin. Miller, you can leave him unprotected. It's up to you. You can protect Yoki Haru over him, Borgen over him. You can protect anyone over him. Jake McCabe, I thought was probably the second best defenseman or third best defenseman for the Sabres this season. So I thought he earned himself a protected spot. And Dahlin, an RFA, nonetheless, still a great defenseman. You obviously want to protect him. He's one of your best players. And as for the goaltending, I went with the only option. The only relative option I could go with, and that's Dustin Tokarski. Yeah. Apart from that, there really wasn't anyone else that I could say, yeah. Like, I with this team, it's confusing because, like, yeah, I could protect Ullmark, but Ullmark's not going to work out a contract with Seattle, I don't think, although they have time to do that. I just don't see it. Like, I that's why this list was incredibly hard, and generally this video is going to be shorter than the other ones because there isn't that many problems with the Sabres. They're not going to lose much. Like, honestly, they really aren't. So that's just the confusing part I have with them. And I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, how are they gonna do this? But you know what? Nonetheless, let's get into the unprotected, my personal unprotected list for the Buffalo Sabres. My unprotected list for the Buffalo Sabres consists of, in the forward position, Kyle Okposo, Zegmas Girgensons, Anders Bjork, Rasmus Asplund, Andrew Golevi, John Sebastian Day, Stephen Fogarty, Riley Sheahan, Drake Kajula, CJ Smith, and Tobias Reeder. So Okposo, high-ass cap hit, you want him out of there. Girgensons, high-ass cap hit, want him out of there. Bjork, not a terrible option for Seattle. He's all right. He'll be solid fourth line depth, I guess. Rasmus Asplund, not a terrible center. He was playing first line at times this season, and it had my mind blown. Andrew Golevi, I don't see him going. John Sebastian Day, as much as I like him, I don't think he's going to Seattle, so it doesn't hurt leaving him unprotected. Stephen Fogarty, if they leave him unprotected, maybe Seattle does consider it. Riley Sheahan, don't think so. Drake Kajula, judging by what he did in Arizona as well, no thank you. CJ Smith, I don't see it. It was kind of a rookie that died. Tobias Reeder, yeah, no. So I just don't see anyone besides maybe Anders Bjork on the offense there. Defense, here's a big one. Rasmus Ristolainen. Yeah, I left him unprotected. They might try and make him go that way. Although they are going to try getting something back for him, they may try going that way. Henry Yokiharu, William Borgen, Brandon Davidson, and Matt Irwin are your other defensive guys. So you could argue Yokiharu over Colin Miller. I wouldn't stop you. If you could argue Ristolainen over Colin Miller. I also wouldn't stop you. But then again, like Ristolainen, I remember he requested a trade a couple of years back, and he just hasn't been good for the Sabres. So I think he does get leaved unprotected unless the Sabres decide, oh, you have a cool name. Let's bring you back. And as for the goaltending, you have Carter Hutton, Linus Ullmark, and Michael Hussey. Unless they can work out contracts with one of those three guys, they're all UFAs this offseason. I just don't see that working out. So what would I go for in each position? I'd probably go Bjork for offense. Honestly, he's not terrible depth. When I look at who's there. For defense, Ristolainen or Yokiharu. In all honesty, like the fact that I don't know who they can pick is like concerning. I feel like they could pick any of the guys that I have protected. Like any of them, they're kind of all at the same skill level. That's just how I see it. Like they're just not all like they're not well-known players. They're not big-name guys. Like Boston has DeBrusk and Ritchie. Arizona has Schmaltz and Fisher for me. And then Anaheim has Volkov, Silverberg. You have guys like that. Like Buffalo doesn't have big names, so it's kind of confusing. As for goaltending, I guess Linus Ullmark. Like I don't know. I genuinely don't know what they do here. So it's not up to me. It's up to Seattle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Really, I'm just at a loss for words at who they'll pick and what they'll try and go for. Thank y'all for watching. For our support as of late, please make sure to go down below and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.